us higher. Let the bass take over. Cause it's you and I know you feel it. I know you feel it. So what you wanna do? What you wanna do?
Welcome back everyone. I'll be running you through a 2,400 calories cutting day. Standard breakfast that I always have is overnight oats. So recipe for that is on my channel, man. I always do these anyway. You guys already know this is like the only thing that I've been eating for the last 2 years every morning. So it's fucking, I know. But the variety in the food today should be quite good. Lots of vegetables, chicken, meat, all that stuff. I just wanted to say starting point, 79 kilos. Life happened, okay. We can delve into that probably in another video. Getting into shape was quite easy for me when I was especially a lot younger. Less responsibilities, less stress, less all of that. Anyone, I think, personally, not to put anyone down if that isn't the case with yourself, but I feel like most people could get themselves into a pretty good condition when those variables aren't at play. But I cracked the code, okay? Trust me, eat as much as you can. So have your food point set quite high. Okay, and your training have that set point quite low. Low means less exercise variety and less volume overall. So what that will do is in a week or two's time, either, all right, you'll feel like you're progressing, or maybe even give it a month, you feel like you're progressing on the training side of things, or you feel like, shit, nothing's moving. At that point, you can pivot, you can say, I've finished the session in half an hour, it's not really enjoyable, I'm not really getting stronger, and that's it. So change. Food wise, you start high because it will stop you from binging, it will stop other things, and then you'll know an exact calorie amount. So for example, I'm starting 2400, I could have probably started a bit higher, but I don't mind the fast fat cut, I've done it before. So essentially what you do is you'd find out, okay, so I'm eating this much, so I'm eating 2500 calories and my fat isn't dropping, or best case scenario is dropping. At that point you continue, so you have a comfortable weight loss journey, or you see, okay, my weight's quite stable, it's creeping up. Well done. Best case scenario, you found your maintenance rather than going up and down, and then sort of wasting your time that way. And another thing that we're going to touch on is the fact that your diet won't bring you back into training. It's going to be the other way around. The basic things still work. Anyway, long story short, bowl of oats, and that's going to be my meal number one. And actually, I'm going to add some peanut butter to it. This is specifically this one. I don't know why it's specifically this one. This peanut butter, right, is from the Netherlands. Wicked place, wicked peanut butter. So this one's actually flavored, so it's a mocha flavor. It doesn't have any coffee in it. All right, ingredients. 90%, okay, it's in Dutch.
Ain't cold, that's cold.
So the plan is, right, to make things as easy as possible, especially early on. So this many fats, right, I really don't need 30 grams of peanut butter. The only reason it is there is because early on, if you're coming off like a bad phase in your diet, so you've basically gone out and you've eaten crap, and if that's the case, chances are you're not going to be able to do a sudden bang, I'm going to eat clean, everything's sorted, I'm going to eat the best as possible. It's not going to happen, right? You're going to have to taper it. It's like a bad habit, right? Or when you go to drugs rehab, it's the same thing, right? Hear me out, right? When you go to rehab, or when people go to rehab, they would basically start at a certain point and they'd sort of dose them off, taper them off that whatever the thing they are eating or doing. I have no experience, obviously, but yeah. So what you're looking at, I actually don't have any experience with all that stuff. I don't know why I made it look like I do. But what you're looking at basically is 30 grams of peanut butter, which will probably scale down to roughly around 10 grams over time. Okay, and same with my other meals. You'll notice the addition of additional fats. So the fats, from what I've noticed, are, you need some anyway to survive, but at a certain point it's purely those things that are high in fat. For me personally, peanut butter, cheese and things like that, they are quite satiating in mental side of things, not hunger side of things. So you don't want to be cutting out a food, sort of kind of like a macronutrient completely, especially fats. I think early on have very high value. It'll help you stick onto your diet. I could probably have no peanut butter, crack on, and then it would just be a bit more high stress, if that makes sense. Because right now I've had a couple of days before where I have now started this diet. The hunger's been there towards the end of the day, but nothing crazy, and I'm sure I could have handled it without the peanut butter as well. But I tell this to everyone, whoever asks, or whenever we speak about diet with anyone, you don't get any extra points for that. Eat the calories you're supposed to eat, or eat the calories that you've set for yourself, and then just let it play out as is. You don't get any extra points for skipping something one day, skipping something the other day, because the next thing might happen, right? You might end up binging, and you might go to like a binge cut cycle, eating cycle, and then falling off, and that does worse for you than some inconsistency with diet or just like a below par, subpar set. Right, just checking in quickly. If you are finding yourself a bit hungry before your set meal time, do not underestimate the value of water, okay? Sounds like a generic fucking Instagram, TikTok influencer tip. Don't forget 5 more things, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying basically, I'm feeling slightly a bit like hungry-ish. Those signals only get stronger. And last thing you want is pre-meal, pre-every meal, you're really thirsty, plus you're hungry leading up towards the meals. Especially early on, there should be no real reason you're hungry. And I realized that, hang on, I'm feeling a bit hungry-ish when I shouldn't be. What's going on? Because I've just had my oats a couple hours ago. Water, it's a big one. So I'll be topping up on water for the next few hours, just, here and there, having a few sips, manage thirst as well as hydration levels overall. And then that will lead me up to roughly 12 p.m. where I can eat again and not be hungry, but just eat, because that's exactly what I plan to do. Meal 2, so lunchtime. Basically, you've seen this, right? Normally I would make this overnight for 2 days. So these wraps, the ingredients you saw in there, basically phenomenal, right? It's got veg in there. Don't skimp out on vegetables, they're really, really important. To bulk up your meals, number one, if you're someone that struggles with adherence with diet, if your motivation isn't fully there, what you can fall back on is size of the meal. So yeah, that's always amazing. And these chips, mate, basically I didn't show the full thing because it would have been like a recipe video, which I will do anyway. You microwave them, and then you just basically, after 5 minutes, so you do 3 minutes, mix them around, 2 minutes, again, microwave at 900 watts, air fry them for 5 minutes, and it's like chips, right? Without all the rubbish on it, and then salt, pepper, obviously standard. Wraps in there, and I made a low-calorie mayo. So the low-calorie mayo is the one that does 15 calories, I think, per spoon, and mixed it with a bit of a tandoori masala seasoning, and it's kind of like a nice tandoori masala seasoning mayo, because otherwise it tastes like water. Wrap, I keep it in foil because I air fry it, and what that does is it just keeps everything else warm in there while I eat the chips. If you fill your full-on meal with like rice, and then obviously having no vegetables and just protein, and then keep it as is, as like a plain meal, inherently nothing wrong with that. But when you have to strip food away, eventually you'll feel it. So my first goal initially is to take things away that calories will come off, but I won't feel it either. Especially on a planned day, this is like a full-on planned day. I've put it in my app, and I normally copy and paste and eat the same meals every single day unless I'm feeling like some diet fatigue. At that point, on a random day, on a single meal, if it's 500-600 calories worth of food, I'll just have whatever I want, kind of around that. So yeah, transformation, as you get through it more and more, your adherence increases, and then in my case, I've done it in a smart way, what I think anyway. I get rid of the fats first, mostly, because I eat kind of about 80 to 90 grams of fat. So what I would do is reduce the peanut butter. So instead of 30 grams, like I say, I'd have 10, and then that will shave off a good nearly 100 calories, maybe a bit more. Cheese triangle, or the paste that I use, is about 50, 60 calories, not much. I'll probably keep that in until the end, but that can stay. Other fats, you can swap meats. So instead of chicken thigh, you have chicken breast. So that element. So physically, there's no difference really in volume, food volume, but there's a difference in calories. So that's what we're aiming for really. Oils as well, if you can swap oils, use a spray, simple fixes like that. And that's what I've gone for. So this is basically like proper dense meal of just mainly food and very, very low calories of anything else. All right, we're looking at meal number 3, which is basically pretty much identical to the one in the morning, But apart from the berries, I have mango pulp instead. You can get it from like Asian shops. Mango pulp, it comes in a can usually, and 100 grams or 100 mil of it is basically 100 calories, right? So I actually have it frozen. I've frozen it in a bucket, and then I just basically cut it out and then put it in there. This is about 20 grams, which is plenty, just for flavor. And it's a different fruit rather than just having berries. I do like mangoes as well. You can put mango or you can put banana, whatever you want. That's how I do it. And then I top it up with 20 grams of peanut butter, which I haven't done yet. I will be doing that. So I'm gonna dig into that. We've got one more meal after that, and that one is my current favorite. So watch out for that one. But in the meantime, let's dig into this. So 7 o'clock now, time for the final meal of the day. I've made some good choices. So that, like I said, this was like my base meal plan. That's what I normally would eat. There's no distractions, everything's planned. On the days like you feel like, you know, you want to eat something different, still make your core meals the same. So I have like a lunchtime and breakfast that is fixed because I know that gives me best energy before training, and it just works really well for my lifestyle. And then at the end of the day, in the evening, if I want to switch something, then those calories are allocated to pretty much near enough whatever I want. As long as it hits my macros and there's enough, you know, good food in there. For example, right, cheese, like I say, remember the emphasis for me on fats is quite high-ish. So basically I'm looking at 30 grams of 30% less fat cheddar cheese. And the way I cook this egg, by the way, is I put a lid on it, as you guys saw. And what that allows me to do is cook without any oil, and also the yolk is runny-ish, but not also when you press it, it goes everywhere. It's a wicked idea. You just put it on there, put a lid on for 2 minutes or so. I think I've overdone it because the cheese is kind of spread everywhere. But yeah, same potatoes as earlier. I feel good about my diet today, so I'm not going to really change anything, chop and change anything. This is like the base day. And the mayo I made earlier with the tandoori masala, that is going to be, I think, staple. I'm going to keep that. It tastes really, really cool, and that's what we want. In this instance, right, results are guaranteed as long as you have a plan, and on paper, how it is looks perfect to you, works with your lifestyle, and you can actually execute it. So for me, this day was like a perfect eating day. The more days you'll have like this, the better it'll be for yourself and your journey overall. So out of 7 days, let's say if 6 days are perfect, 1 day was a bit iffy, and then you string a really good week, and then you lose like a significant amount of body fat, or you see in the mirror like a big difference, and that spurts you on for maybe another 2-3 weeks. You can have a really good diet, for example, and then have a diet break in between. So as long as you're more often than not really consistent, there's no chance of failure. But yeah, that's how I've set up my food today. Hopefully you enjoyed this full day of eating. And I think the next one we're going to do is be in the weight room, and I'll show you guys how the training has been set up now. Remember what I said at the beginning of this video. Keep the training low, start low as possible, and food as high as possible, and then find out where your results kick in, and then milk that as long as possible, and then make changes from there. I've been doing this in the past. I know some of you guys have done this as well, where you analyze something, you find some new information online, you go down a rabbit hole. Old-fashioned basics, old-fashioned knowledge, information that got those great, amazing physiques. Even I've made a video on silver era physiques. Those foundations are still in place. There's no real reason why we're, you know, overcomplicating things. Get the basic results, get into a shape that you're happy with, and then basically build on from there. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So 79 kgs, check it in today. Hopefully you cut down to about 15% body fat, maybe a bit lower, and then there'll be a huge bulk series that I'm going to take you guys along. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to dig into this bad boy right now. Catch you guys next one. Peace out.